Here's something most people never say clearly. The moment you stop contacting a man, you stop giving him certainty. And when certainty goes away, his real feelings often start to show. As long as you keep texting first, checking in, and carrying the conversation, he never has to sit with the feeling of life without you. He never has to wonder what your absence means. But silence changes that. Distance changes that. Your absence hits differently. Suddenly, the man who took forever to reply starts watching your stories. The man who looked emotionally shut down begins finding little reasons to reach out. The man who acted completely calm starts asking himself one hard question. Wait, am I losing her? That is the shift. When a woman pulls back her energy, a man has to face the value he may have taken for granted. And that moment can reveal more than weeks of talking ever could. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. Something powerful happens when you stop contacting a man, and most women underestimate this moment. While you are always texting, checking on him, sending one more message and keeping things alive, he never fully feels your absence. He never has to feel the emotional space you fill in his life because you keep filling every silence for him. The moment you stop, the whole emotional pattern changes, and that is when things begin to get real. A lot of people hear this and think, if he likes me, why would silence matter? Because people, especially in dating, often do not understand value until they feel they could lose it. Familiarity brings comfort, yes, but it can also create blindness. When someone gets used to your attention, your warmth, your care, your consistency, they stop noticing it in a conscious way. Not because they are cruel, not because they do not care, but because people adjust to what becomes normal. Your messages start to feel expected. Your presence starts to feel guaranteed. Your emotional energy becomes something he quietly assumes will always be there. This is why so many women end up overworking in a relationship. They become the emotional engine. They keep the talks going. They repair the awkward pauses. They reach out after conflict. They explain away low effort. They keep pouring in energy, hoping one day he will match it. But here is the problem. When you always make yourself available, a man never has to face what life feels like without you. And absence is powerful because it creates awareness. Silence makes him notice the place where your energy used to be. The good morning text is gone. The random check-in is gone. The comfort is gone. And for the first time, he has room to actually feel your absence instead of just enjoying your presence. That is when awareness starts. And once awareness starts, everything can shift. People often understand emotional value through contrast. You do not notice how quiet a room is until the music stops. You do not realize how much someone mattered until their energy is no longer around you every day. That is where many men begin to feel something unexpected. Curiosity, emotional curiosity. They start wondering, why did she pull back? Is she upset? Did she lose interest? Is someone else getting her attention now? Am I losing access to her? And notice this carefully because it matters. The silence itself is not magic. What matters is what the silence means. It means self-respect. It means emotional control. It means a woman is no longer doing all the work to hold a connection together by herself. That changes the psychology. Desperation pushes people away. Emotional strength creates interest. When a woman keeps chasing a man who gives very little back, she quietly sends this message: I will keep investing no matter how little effort you give me. There is no urgency in that, no emotional risk, no fear of loss. But when she steps back, the pattern becomes uncertain, and uncertainty creates tension. That is why some men suddenly come back after weeks of silence. Not because silence is a trick, but because your absence broke the certainty that you would always be there. For the first time, he has to lean in emotionally. He has to think. He has to feel. And some men do not process emotion when everything is easy. They process it when distance forces reflection. That is why this moment reveals so much. Once your attention disappears, memory gets louder. He starts remembering your conversations, your laugh, your energy, the way you made him feel seen, understood, and calm. What once felt normal suddenly feels valuable. That is why pulling back can show the truth of the connection. A man who truly cares will begin moving toward you. He will reach out. He will start the conversation. He will want to understand the distance. He will feel the shift and respond to it. But a man who only enjoyed convenience may simply fade away. And yes, that can hurt, but it is also clarity, because sometimes the silence does not make him realize your value. Sometimes it makes you realize his lack of effort, and that truth matters. Too many people get stuck trying to convince someone to care more. But real connection should not have to be forced every day by one person carrying the whole emotional load. Healthy love has balance. It has effort on both sides. It has curiosity, consistency, and mutual care. And when you stop contacting a man, you create space to see whether those things exist on their own without you forcing them into existence. That is the real power of silence. It is not manipulation. It is information. It tells you whether he was truly connected or simply comfortable receiving your energy without earning it. And if that hits home, keep listening, because the next part explains why silence can feel louder than words. This is where many women finally start seeing the difference between attention and real emotional investment. One of the first things that happens when you stop contacting a man is simple but powerful. He starts wondering why. And that question alone can change everything. As long as communication stays predictable, people move through the connection on autopilot. They assume tomorrow will look like today. They assume your energy will still be there. The attention, the effort, the emotional openness, all of it feels guaranteed. But the second you go quiet, the pattern breaks. And people are wired to notice broken patterns. Someone can ignore 10 messages when they expect them, then suddenly become deeply curious when those messages stop. Silence stands out. It creates contrast. Instead of receiving your attention without effort, he now has to sit inside uncertainty. Why has she not texted me? Did something happen? Is she angry? Did she lose interest? Is she moving on? Did I mess this up? And here is what makes that so powerful. Uncertainty creates focus. Certainty lets people relax. Uncertainty grabs attention. When someone feels sure that you will always be there no matter what, they stop thinking about losing you. The connection becomes emotionally safe, comfortable, and stable, but sometimes so stable that it loses urgency. Once certainty disappears, the mind starts searching for answers. That is why silence can feel so loud. Your absence pushes him into reflection. And no, this is not about childish games. It is about finally creating enough space for him to process the relationship on his own, instead of you constantly doing all the emotional work for both of you. Many women answer every silence too fast. They fix every distance too quickly. They smooth over every pause before he ever has to feel it. They keep the bond alive alone. And because of that, he never has to lean forward emotionally. He never has to ask where he stands, because your effort keeps reassuring him. But when you stop, his mind becomes active. And curiosity is powerful. When people do not fully understand what is happening, they start paying closer attention. They look harder. They replay the last conversation. They read into details they ignored before. Suddenly, he is checking your social media, rereading old messages, thinking about your last interaction, wondering if your energy changed because of something he said or did. And this is where some men start feeling emotions they were too distracted to notice before. Distance creates perspective. Constant access can make a man passive without even realizing it. Your attention feels endless, but when that access changes, he begins to recognize how much space you had in his life. And many men react most strongly when they feel they are losing certainty, not when they feel fully secure. That uncertainty lights something up inside them. Now he is thinking, is someone else talking to her? Has she checked out? Did she get tired of my inconsistency? What if she is really moving on? Humans are naturally afraid of loss. People often feel the fear of losing something more strongly than the comfort of having it every day. So he may not have fully valued your emotional presence when it was always available. But once he feels it slipping, his awareness rises fast. And that shift can make him act very differently. That is why some men suddenly begin doing what they were not doing before. Now they start conversations. Now they send longer messages. Now they ask how you are. Now they seem more emotionally alert. Not because you tricked them, because your silence forced them to participate emotionally. But here is where many women make the mistake. The second he leans forward a little, they rush back into overgiving. They become fully available too quickly because they feel relieved to finally get attention. But emotional attraction grows in space, not pressure. When someone has time to think about you, miss you, wonder about you, and question your absence, the emotional processing gets deeper. Sometimes what a man imagines during your absence becomes more intense than anything you could have explained through constant contact. Mystery creates engagement. Of course, not every man responds the same way. A man who truly values the connection may become more intentional. He will want clarity. He will reach out because your absence feels important to him. A man who only enjoyed convenience may not respond at all. Painful, yes, but also freeing, because your silence reveals where his interest really stands when you stop doing all the work. You should never have to keep proving your value through endless availability. A healthy connection has mutual curiosity, mutual effort, mutual concern. The right man notices when your energy changes because your presence matters to him. And when you stop contacting him, you finally give him the chance to show whether he is genuinely interested or simply comfortable receiving your attention without giving much back. So keep watching, because the next sign is one of the most confusing and one of the most revealing. Sometimes he does not text right away. He does not call. He does not step forward clearly, but somehow he is still there, watching, viewing your stories, liking a photo after weeks of silence, showing up online right after you post, quietly checking in without actually reaching out. This confuses a lot of women. If he misses me, why does he not just say something? Because for many men, observation comes before action. When you pull back your energy, he does not always know how to respond right away, especially if he struggles with vulnerability, pride, fear of rejection, or emotional confusion. Instead of saying how he feels, he starts gathering information from a distance. Before, he knew where he stood. He knew you were available. He knew communication was open, but now that certainty is gone. He wants to understand what is happening without exposing himself too much. So he watches, He checks your story to see what you are doing. He notices whether you seem happy. He looks for signs that you are moving on. He tries to figure out whether your silence means strength, disappointment, detachment, or closure. Social media made this even more common. Years ago, if someone missed you, they had to reach out or disappear. Now they can hover around your life without the risk of direct communication. A man can miss you quietly, think about you often, and still hesitate to send the message because indirect attention feels safer than direct honesty. Watching your story costs him nothing. Texting you could expose him. It could bring rejection. It could show him that you no longer care. So a lot of men stay in watch mode first because it feels emotionally safer. But here is the important part. Watching is not the same as leading. Seeing your story is not the same as making real effort. Sometimes a man watches because he misses you. Sometimes because his ego is triggered. Sometimes because he is curious. Sometimes because your absence disturbed his comfort. No matter the reason, one truth stays the same. Your silence made him pay attention. When your energy was always available, there was no mystery, no contrast, no emotional tension. But now there is less access to you, and less access often creates more awareness. Human beings are drawn to what feels uncertain or unresolved. That is why unfinished things stay in the mind. That is why distance can intensify attraction. The brain wants closure. So when you stop contacting him, emotional tension begins to build, and tension creates focus. That is why men who looked half interested before can suddenly become very alert to your online presence. They are asking silent questions. Is she happier without me? Is she talking to someone else? Why does she seem different now? Did she finally stop caring? Am I still important to her? And sometimes your absence makes him pursue you in his mind before he pursues you in real life. He starts thinking about you more, replaying moments, reading into your captions, looking for clues. Mental pursuit begins before physical action. But do not get trapped here. A strong woman does not only ask, is he watching? She asks, is he moving toward me in a meaningful way? Because attention without action can keep you emotionally stuck. It gives just enough hope to hold your feelings in place while still avoiding real effort. And that is not enough. At some point, he starts comparing life with you to life without you. And that comparison can change everything. When you are present every day, people experience your value in real time, little by little. Your attention becomes routine. Your affection becomes familiar. Your support becomes normal. And familiarity does something strange. It makes people stop noticing what is always there. Your value does not disappear. It just blends into the background because there is no contrast. That is why distance can hit so hard. The moment you stop contacting him, you remove an emotional experience he had gotten used to. Now he wakes up and notices the silence. The conversations are missing. The comfort is missing. The easy emotional access is gone. And for the first time, he feels contrast. Contrast creates clarity. You appreciate warmth more when you feel cold. You appreciate peace more when you feel loneliness. And many people only appreciate emotional connection when they feel its absence. So now he starts comparing. What did life feel like when she was here? What does it feel like now that she has gone quiet? Often this starts under the surface. At first, he may only feel that something is off, more restless, more distracted, less grounded. He may not even connect it to you right away, but slowly the truth becomes obvious. He remembers the little things, the way you checked in, the ease of talking to you, the comfort of feeling understood, the emotional support you brought without making a big show of it. And that is when the loss stops being abstract. It becomes personal. It becomes felt. And once something is deeply felt, it becomes much harder to ignore. People do not just miss a person. They miss an experience. They miss an emotional state. A man may start realizing that your presence made life feel lighter, calmer, warmer, more exciting, more connected. And when that disappears, the difference becomes obvious. That is why some men return sounding more emotional than before. They say things like, "I have been thinking about you. I miss talking to you. Things do not feel the same. I did not realize how much you mattered to me." What changed? The comparison changed. Before, he only knew life with your presence. Now he knows life without it too. And sometimes absence creates a level of clarity that constant availability never could. While you were there every day, he may have been distracted by work, routine, fear, pride, or emotional immaturity. But once your energy disappears, the noise fades, and he can finally feel the space you filled in his life. That is when realization lands. And do not underestimate your emotional energy, the way you listen, the way you encourage, the way you make someone feel seen, the calm, the laughter, the warmth, the comfort you bring into someone's daily life. These things matter more than people admit, but they are rarely measured while they are constantly being received. They are measured when they are gone. Maybe he drives home and notices there is no message waiting. Maybe something happens and he instinctively wants to tell you. Maybe he has a hard day and feels the absence of the support he once had without asking. Slowly, he starts comparing two emotional realities: life with your energy, life without it. And if that contrast keeps growing, it starts pushing him toward a choice. Now, here is the truth many women need to hear. A man who genuinely cares about you will not stay silent forever. He may hesitate. He may take time. He may struggle with fear, pride, confusion, or emotional uncertainty. But if the connection truly matters to him, at some point, he will feel the need to reach out. Effort reveals intention. Not words, not promises, not chemistry, not mixed signals, effort. Many women get attached to possibility instead of pattern. They focus on attraction, rare sweet moments, or what he could become if only he opened up. But relationships are not built on potential. They are built on consistent action. And silence has a way of exposing whether that action exists when you stop carrying everything by yourself. When you always initiate, always check in, always revive the bond after it fades, you hide the truth from yourself. You never get to see what he would do without your energy propping the connection up. But when you stop, the relationship loses its emotional support system. And what happens next becomes very revealing. A man who truly values you feels your absence. He notices the missing warmth, the missing connection, the missing conversations. And that awareness creates movement. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not dramatically, but he moves toward you because real interest seeks connection. That is not complicated. When someone truly cares, distance becomes uncomfortable. And uncomfortable distance usually creates action. So if he cares, he will show it. Maybe slowly, maybe awkwardly, but he will show it. And yes, some men come back in clumsy ways. A casual message, a random check-in, a light joke as if nothing happened. Not because they do not feel anything, but because direct vulnerability feels hard for them. They test the waters, they move carefully, but the effort still matters because effort is evidence. At the same time, Sometimes the silence keeps going. And when that happens, many women start creating endless excuses. Maybe he is scared. Maybe he is confused. Maybe he is busy. Maybe he is waiting for the right moment. Maybe he does not know what to say. Sometimes those things are true for a while, but there comes a point where lack of effort becomes the answer. That is the part people do not want to accept. Too many women stay stuck trying to decode feelings instead of observing behavior. But behavior is the clearest language in relationships. A man who wants to keep the connection will usually find a way to keep the connection. He texts, he calls, he checks in, he creates a path back. He moves toward resolution instead of staying comfortably absent. Why? Because emotionally invested people do not like disconnection. They feel it. They respond to it. That is why stepping back is so powerful. Not because it makes someone care, but because it shows you whether the care was real to begin with. When you stop contacting him, you remove pressure. You remove chasing. You remove the emotional overgiving. Now he is free. Free to choose. Free to show initiative, free to reveal whether the bond matters enough for him to protect it. And that freedom exposes everything. So the real question is not whether silence can make him curious for a moment. It can. The real question is whether that curiosity turns into real effort. Does he move toward you? Does he protect the connection? Does he show emotional initiative once your constant availability is gone? Or does the whole thing collapse the moment you stop carrying it? That answer tells you everything you need to know. Because there is a huge difference between someone who enjoys your presence and someone who truly values your place in his life. One likes having access to you when it is easy. The other feels your absence deeply enough to fight for the connection. And that is why emotionally strong women do not beg to be appreciated. They do not keep over-explaining their worth. They understand something powerful. Sometimes people only recognize your importance when they finally have enough distance to feel what life is like without you. That is not a game. That is truth. Your silence is not there to punish. It is there to reveal. It reveals your value. It reveals his level of investment. It reveals whether the relationship had real depth or only easy convenience. And once you see that clearly, you stop chasing answers that behavior has already given you. So if you needed a sign, this is it. Pulling back does not always bring someone closer, but it always brings clarity. And clarity is powerful. Because the right man does not just enjoy your attention when it is easy. He notices when it is gone. He feels the difference. And sooner or later, if you truly matter to him, he will try to keep you in his life. That is the difference between temporary interest and genuine emotional attachment. One stays comfortable, the other steps forward when silence begins.